Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a quick update because I know I haven't posted any videos in a long time. I think it's about 4 months now. Reason being, my summers, my job get really busy, and so I just haven't had a whole lot of time to work on the plane or to work on videos. In addition to that, I am also transitioning jobs, so I am switching to a new job here in the next month or so. So there's been some work that's been going into that, keeping me away from the computer and the plane. But also, I have been training up a new shop hand. See if you can see her. There she is. She's asleep currently. Right now, her hanger duties include looking cute and converting food into poop. The former she does with flying colors, the latter she does with very disgusting colors. But she does both of them very well. And so I've been spending a lot of time with her instead of on the plane or on the computer as well. And I think that's a good trade-off. But hopefully I can get some more of these videos put back up soon. The one that is going to immediately precede this is work that I did back in May, so that's almost 3 months ago. Hopefully I can catch up, but I'm hoping to spend a lot of time in the garage as well, so I might have a backlog of videos for a while. But hopefully you guys enjoy everything that I've been doing. So here's some more video. Alright guys, I don't think this is a great angle for me, so I'm not going to do it much, but I want to show you guys a little bit what's going on. I forgot to start my cameras. I was updating my workbenches and then just transitioned from that into working on the plane and forgot to start the cameras. So I'm going to give you guys a quick walkthrough update of what I'm doing. First, here's what I did with the workbenches. So I've mentioned that I really like my modular workbenches. The problem is they're not all level. I did cheap, quick, just garage work here, so it's just 2x4s, and 2x4s are typically, at least cheap 2x4s are typically pretty warped, so they weren't all level with each other. So I added these adjustable feet. I made myself, just cut out some wood, used some T-nuts, made it work. So now I can adjust this bolt and move sides of these tables up and down to get them more level. I wanted to do that so that when I'm working on the ribs and skins for the elevator and the wing and the stabilizer, I'm far less likely to introduce some waviness and to warp those wings. I want the best airfoil possible, so made sure that those were level so I can do my best work on building these. So what I'm working on the plane right now is this. So you can see, maybe this is the rear spar for the stabilizer. I haven't gotten around to re-drilling the holes for the bigger rivets yet. That's going to be the next project. But you guys probably can't see real well right there. So the angle on that flange, it's the bottom flange, is supposed to be, or maybe it's the top flange, I don't remember. But that flange, anyways, is supposed to be 97 degrees. It's supposed to be bent at 97 degrees. I'll post up a picture of what it actually is. It is currently at 83 degrees on one spot and 85 on the other side. And so that's a big problem. It's up to 14 degrees off. It's an acute angle instead of an obtuse angle, which means that the ribs don't fit and the skin isn't going to fit. So that has to be bent back to the correct angle. I'm going to give this a shot. I'm kind of building my own little jig to act like a reverse metal brake, so I can hopefully bend it back. I'm going to see how this works. I'm really hoping that it doesn't just bend it in the wrong spot. And here's kind of my thought process. I'm going to give this a shot. If it doesn't work, I'm going to have the factory send me a new one because it should have been right in the first place. But I'm going to go back to work. Got lots of clamps to set because I really want this to be even throughout, and I want it to be uniform. The factory recommendation was to, when I sent them and said, hey, this is the wrong angle, they said, oh, I'll hit it with a hammer. I don't think that's going to get me a uniform 97 degrees across this 12-foot piece if I'm just hitting it with a mallet. They said a rubber mallet or other soft mallet. So instead, I'm going to try to build this break so that I can get an even angle, a uniform angle across the 12 feet. So my next step is to clamp this top piece of wood on in a couple more spots, and then I'm going to take a bunch of boards and drill them in, or screw them together onto this top piece of wood, and then hopefully ease that back and bend that flange to the correct angle. So I'm going to set you guys back on the tripod. Hopefully it'll be a better angle of me than me holding it. Be more stable, it's for certain. So the thing that I didn't mention about my workbenches that I really like about being modular is I can stretch them out like this if I need to. I can make it a good 12 feet. I can make it 16 feet if I want it to be that long. Or I can make it nice and short and wide. So I've got flexibility with this, which I really like, but the levelness was a problem, so I got that fixed. Sorry for the kind of double intro that you guys got on this video, but that's what happens when you take a 3-month hiatus from working on video, but you still film it. Need to let you guys know what's going on here. I honestly filmed a third intro for this video even, but I figured I'd just tell you guys what I said in this voiceover. I was very close to not posting this video at all, and not because I'm running behind, I need to catch up, but really because of a couple reasons. One, I don't want the Zenair company to look bad. I'm not trying to rail on them or anything, and showing a video like this where something else was messed up at the factory does not look good on them, obviously. And I'm not setting out to bash them as a company or anything, and so I thought about not posting this just so that I wouldn't be giving them bad publicity by doing this. But I decided that doesn't matter. You guys can make up your own mind. If Zenair is making a plane that you want, like the 801 Super Duty, buy it. It doesn't matter. You're going to find problems in any kit. Maybe some more than others, but you're going to find problems in any kit. The other reason I thought about not posting it is because I didn't want people to see this video and think, oh, Josh's plane isn't airworthy. I mean, look at all the problems that he's having from ribs that he has to trim, and spars that aren't set to the right angle. He's having so many issues with this plane. Why would he continue building it? And so I thought about not posting that because I didn't want y'all's judgment on my aircraft. But I decided that, if anything, this video is showing the workmanship that is going into this plane. It's showing the attention of detail that's required for building a plane. Even if you're buying a kit, you can't trust that the factory is sending you everything exactly correct. You need to check everything. Trust but verify. Check your angles, check your rivet holes, check everything to make sure that they have manufactured the parts correctly, and you don't need to fix it. Because ultimately, it's not their plane that's flying, it's your plane that's flying. And you want to make sure that you are building the best plane that you can. So, check those angles, just like I had to do here. I even went out and bought a nice protractor. It wasn't expensive, like $5, and it lets me check those angles and get exactly what's on them. And so as I'm bending here, I can go through and I can check those angles, see if it's correct, see if it's not. So ultimately, like I said, I thought about not posting this video just because I didn't want the bad image that this video can create to be out on the internet, because once it's loosed, it's out there forever. But I decided that wasn't as big of an issue as I thought it would be, and so I'm posting this so that you guys can see everything that is going into the building of this plane. So there's that. Have fun watching me. I will talk to exactly what I'm doing here in just a minute. So if I didn't explain it very well in the intro, what I have here is running along the bottom flange of this spar is a 12-foot piece of essentially 2x2 scrap wood, and along the top of the spar I have the same thing, and those are both clamped onto this spar to hold them into place. The bottom one is being used to hold the spar to the workbench, and I'm using that wood so that I don't damage this spar with the clamps, and so that it's not just holding that spar right where those clamps are and creating a little bend in just that spot, but it is distributing the clamp power, if you will, across everywhere that board is. And then that top 2x2 is where I'm applying that force, and then I took a bunch of other scrap 2x2s and screwed them onto that top 2x2 so that I can use some leverage to try to get this to bend. And there I go, bending away. So try and get this spar to bend. I eventually start putting more torque on to these 2x2s than they can handle, and then the screws that are holding them in can handle. So obviously the solution for that is to put more screws in so that it holds them better, right? Maybe. I give it a shot, and I'm really stubborn and obstinate, and I want this to work, so I try it again and again, and put the clamps on in the right direction, and then maybe they'll work. See, there you go. Put the clamp on backwards again. So I keep trying this for a good long time because I want it to work. I really wanted this to be the solution because A, it was going to be easier, and B, I thought it was going to provide a more uniform product if I was able to get this to work. But you can see me right here. I finally was like, well, I'm not sure it's working as well as I want. Grabbed a root beer for a break, and now I'm checking the angles to see if it actually worked. And spoiler alert, it did not. So got to take apart this jig, get it out of the way, and think of what I'm going to do next. Alright, so the jig is disassembled, and now I'm thinking, okay, maybe the factory was onto something. Let's give this hammer thing a try. So I go and grab my rubber mallet, and you can see I give it a couple test whacks. I get my audiobook going and set up my clamps to hold it into place. And I'll be honest, the factory was right. This actually worked out pretty well. Once I had it clamped well enough that it was only bending the flange, which wasn't hard at all, and then just giving it some soft taps here, soft taps there, a little harder whacks there, and it started bending. You just have to be careful if you're going to do it with the mallet to make sure that you're not bending it too far, and then if you do, to just tap the other side and bend it back. And then you can see I tried for a little bit using a wood spacer, so because hitting this metal edge, I will say, has torn up my mallet. There are chunks of rubber flying everywhere while I'm doing this. So you're going to lose some rubber off your mallet. I tried using that wood block, but it just did not work. It spread the force out of the hammer blows too much. If I turn the block one way, if I turn the block the other way, then it was giving too small of an area and was not bending it right. So I ended up just hitting it with the mallet, nothing in between, just rubber mallet to metal. So here in a second, right now I'm breaking out this fancy protractor that I bought because I'm checking the angle as I'm moving along the spar. I'll hit it for a couple times, check the angle, hit it some more, I'll check the angle because I want to make sure that I'm not bending it too far and that I am bending it enough. And so I'm using this protractor quite judiciously, but once I get about halfway down the spar, you kind of get an idea if we're looking at it and be like, yeah, I think that's the right angle, I think that's close enough. And now I'm going to go down the entire spar and check everything, and if it doesn't look like it's right, I hit it with the hammer a few more times to just make sure that it is correct. Now that I've got the angles correct, it's time to drill some holes to get these doublers put back on. So I got it elevated a little bit so I'm not drilling into my workbench, and get the drill, get ready to go. And now it's time for the exciting process of deburring all those holes I just drilled, on both sides of the doublers and on both sides of the spar. So lots of just twisting this little thing around to shave off a little bit of metal. I've sped it up really quick because you guys have seen me do it before. It's not terribly exciting. I've seen me do it before many times. So
feel free to watch if you want. If you guys are still sticking around, I very much appreciate the support that you guys are giving. Thank you for watching the video. Again, I was very timid about posting this video in the first place at all, but I think it's a very good educational video for all of us. We can all learn from it and see the kind of detail and attention that building a plane requires. Taking a look at every little thing, including the angles of spar flanges to make sure they're right. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. I appreciate it very much. Have a good day.